Hello, my name's Trevor and I like to build things. I've got a couple of 3D printers and my first thing that I printed shipwise was this Fletcher class destroyer. It's a waterline model, which means it sits flat on a base. That was my first model. My second one that I made was this one, which is a Liberty ship used in Second World War for delivering cargo to the UK. And then I thought, why not make something that's radio controlled? So I made this harbour defence motor launch, and that's based on a ship that I'm watching being built on YouTube. The YouTube channel is called Ship Happens, and it's excellent about a couple of people who bought a very old ship and are renovating it over the last 5 years. So that's well worth a look. And I'm just in the last bits of filming this, or building this should I say. It's HMS Dragon and it's a British warship. But now I decided it's probably time to make something out of wood. I bought off the internet from a guy called Paul at HAKITS this pilot launch in 31 inch I believe. So I'm going to go through to my workshop and open the packaging and see what we get. So we've got the little advertising blurb from HAKITS, and if you need to know for yourself, it's at www.hakits.co.uk. I also bought two prop shafts, which are here, and two rudders assemblies, and two props. They were extra, but they were included in the kit for me. I've got a good set of instructions there. I've got windows, which are 3D printed, and radar and lifeboat. So in the box itself, so I have lots of strips of wood for the edges, I'm assuming, and then all the laser cut pieces, and all these have full details of which pieces they are, and cabin roof, more pieces, full bottom, full sides, lots of really nice well cut out pieces. Well, that's the size of the front deck, so it's going to be quite big. Lots more pieces in there. I guess that is going to be the top deck, and the lower deck and keel. And obviously I've got the instruction book here, which looks quite clear and easy to follow. So we're going to make a start on that and see how we get on. We're going to start with the instructions and look at page 1, which is the pre-build. It says to remove all the components from the plywood sheets, but I don't want to do that because I don't want to lose any parts and I don't want to break anything. So we'll take them as we need them. So first, glue two parts of the lower deck using a waterproof PVA or alphatic adhesive. When gluing, put a strip of masking tape under the joint placed on a flat board. So we'll try that first. I found part 1, which is the lower deck. So I'm just going to remove that from its housing. That's part 1 off. And the second part is this one. So I'm going to take that one out as well. A little tricky to get it out, as you can see. There. So that's the two pieces. I'm just going to take off those little bits of extra. As you can see, they fit together quite well. I'm using Evo stick wood glue, which is for exterior, so that should be good. And I'm going to apply with a paintbrush. Again, I don't know if this is how to do it, but it's how it's working for me. I'm going to join these two together like so, and it suggests that we put a strip of masking underneath to stop it from sticking to the board. There. Okay, and just a light paint more with the glue. I don't know if this is right, but this is how I'm doing it. It's filled all the little gaps in, and I'm using two weights now just to weight it down, and we'll leave that bit to dry. The next two parts are the deck, which we're going to glue together. They fit like that very well. Again, use a bit of glue. And again, we'll position those and join them together. And I'm going to masking tape those together, keep them tight. And the same on this one, keep it tight. And it does say that you can use small reinforcing strip cut from scrap, can be added to the underside if required. So I think we will do that. Get a bit more glue into these joints. There we are. So now I'm going to add a couple of offcuts just to strengthen the joints. There's one. And two. And hopefully they won't interfere with the rest of the structure when I build it. So now we have to continue with gluing the side skins and whole bottom skins in the same way. So basically we're making the length of the boat in pieces. That looks good. So that will look good. And that one and this one. So time for a bit more gluing. I'm going to try a different way this time because I'm not sure how much glue got involved with the using the paintbrush method. So that's page 1 completed. Alright, so we're going to look at page 2 of the build, using the bottom hull and putting the hull formers in. So I'll get my bits and pieces, which are there, and I need the hull base that I made yesterday. But I have noticed a problem, and I have contacted the man, Paul, to see what the problem is. Because the first thing it says is on a flatboard, glue F1 in place. Well, there's F1, and that doesn't look like that. So I'm a little unsure of what that is. But if I look further down the page, it looks like that. So I'm going to have a look and see which parts are either wrong or missing. So that looks like that, with that on the front, like that. So I'm guessing that's been wrongly marked as F1 when it's actually F2. So I'm going to change that if I can find a pen. I won't, I'll change it later. So the first bit is F2, and then we'll go on to fit the front piece on. So I've amended the page now, that's F2, and that little piece there is F1. So let's make a start on doing the front piece. So the first bit to do is to put on F2, which is F2, and that lives in there like that. Now it does say use a square to make sure the formers are vertical, and I've printed on my 3D printer this little device which makes sure that when I put that in, it's vertical. However, I made a slight error with this, and because that's a sharp point there, when I glue's going to be up against here. So I'm currently printing some more with just the small gap in the corner there, so that I can still get the glue in. There, pop that part in, and a little bit of masking tape just to hold that square. Bit of weight, that's good. Now I'm going to put the next piece in, which is the bow former. So this piece here. That, and this piece goes in the front. So a nice dollop of glue up here, and which is the other bit, goes down here. I have to say the bits fit together very well, quite impressed. So now I'm just going to wipe the excess off. Next I'm going to glue all of the hull formers along. So we've got F3, which is this one, F5, I guess it's that one, F4 and the transom. So let's glue those. And I'll use my square in there as soon as it's finished printing. I'm just putting some weight in there because the board's tending to flex a little. All of the glue's set now, and I think my little angle brackets have done the job remarkably. So we'll move on to the next stage, which says glue the deck to the top of the formers, make sure it's central. So let me just move this out of the way a little and bring the deck in. And we're going to glue upside down because it's easy to see where everything lines up. So this gives me the lines where the glue needs to be, and I've glued behind each of the lines. Sorry, I've marked in front of each of the lines. So let's see if we can fit this deck. That's looking pretty good. And then again, So hopefully that will stick on now, but I'm just going to try and get some small clamps, and maybe this will just help clamp the two bits together while they're dry. And I think we're looking pretty good with that. Not the easiest bit to do, but hey, that's looking pretty good. So we'll just leave that to dry now and come back and have a look at it later. Hello, welcome back. I'm still building my model pilot boat. Since the last video, I've installed this hatch plates around here and also some doublers along the front of the bow. So I'm going to go back to the workshop and continue with this model build. The next part of the instruction book says to remove the hull from the board and turn over, glue the lower hull formers F2 to F5 in place. So F2, F3, F4, F5. Just clean those up a bit, and then we're ready to adhesive them to the boat. So there's the lower deck, and we've got 5, I guess. No, that's 3, 5, 4 and 2. So we'll just clean that up, and I'm going to use my plastic 90-degree squares. And finally the last piece of the V hull. That's better. That fits nice. This is sat for a few hours now and the glue is set. So I'm just going to remove the uprights. And the next bit, it says, is to fit the keel, which is this bit here. So I have to admit I made a big mistake when I first built this, because I put this the wrong way around, thinking the keel would have gone up to the front of the boat, but I was wrong. So it actually fits this way. So I've taken that apart and changed it around to the way it should be. And this now should slot into here. Just like that. That looks pretty good. So I'll stick some glue in there, and I'm just going to mark a straight line here from there to there, just so I can see where I'm running my glue. So let's go. There, that looks quite good. Let me get a cloth and wipe off the excess. Put a bit more glue in there because there, that's good. So we'll leave that now to dry and come back and see the next bit. So I have said that this is my first build of a model, wooden model kit, and I'm going to make mistakes, as most people do when they learn. But I've been reliably informed that I've put the deck of the boat on too far forwards. So I spent a short while with a knife blade, cut the deck off along the glue lines and glued it back on where it should be, as seen here. So back to the build, and the next instruction is to glue the transom, which I've done already, and glue both halves of F6 in place. I've glued one there for you, and I'm just going to put the next one on. And then insert and glue the 4 rudder tube supports. These are called rudder outer boxes, so I'm guessing this is it. So the outer piece goes on here, and the inner one goes there, and the same this side. So I'll stick some glue on there. So that's the outer, that's the inner. Basically the inner one's just a bit taller to take the angle of the slope of the deck, and we'll do the same on this side. Okay, so the next it says insert the tube supports onto each side of the tube hole. Well, the tube hole is there in the middle. And I believe these could be the bits, so I think I'm going to just cut those out and try them. Okay, so that is the end of the next page, and we'll turn over to see what awaits us now. So the next page is fit and glue prop shaft boxes, the sides closest, the largest size closest to the keel. So we're going to start that, but first I'm going to have a break and let all of this set. So I'm going to call it a day there. This video's been long enough. I hope it hasn't sent you to sleep. Please subscribe and come back and watch the second video, which will be out shortly.